What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing all right out there. I just got done doing a bit of a deep clean on my old Meshify S2 here to get ready to throw my main rig back into it, and figured I'd stop and take this opportunity to just catch up with you all because it's been a minute since I had another video out. This is going to be a pretty relaxed video for the most part. Shouldn't be much of anything in the way of B-roll here, at least as I'm seeing it right now. So, going to keep things nice and relaxed by pouring myself a beer. I encourage you all to pour your favorite beverage as well. Just in case you were wondering, this is by Ex Novo. It is called Liquid Sweater. This is a winter warmer ale that they brewed out of their Corrales, New Mexico location, which is relatively new for them. Yes, this is in fact a liquid sweater. It is warm, toasty, and delicious. Anyway, let's talk about what I've been up to in recent history. Part of the reason I haven't actually been able to get out much in the way of content is because up until a week or so ago, I had been recovering from a very serious flu that I caught while I was at CES. Now, for those of you that are unaware, if you're relatively new to the channel or whatever, for the past 2 years running, I have gone to CES as a production assistant for Brian Stroh of BPS Customs. Now, while it is possible to conduct CES operations as a one-person operation, I'll give you a little bit of background, some behind-the-scenes talk, if you will, about what actually goes on at CES and how challenging something like that can be. First of all, in order to attend CES in the first place, you have to be some kind of industry professional. Either you're working with a business that does a lot of B2B type purchasing through one of the vendors that's showing up there, or you're a social media influencer that meets very specific criteria that just got retweaked for this past CES, or you're a major tech media outlet, someone like a Nantech or something like that. So the nature of a lot of our meetings is actually pretty decentralized, since a lot of the major vendors, where we're talking like Lee, iBuyPower, Gigabyte, Zotac, they're not located in the main convention center where the bulk of the rest of the technology is on display. In fact, they have suites that they rent out in the various resorts up and down the Las Vegas Strip. Now, if you've never been to the Las Vegas Strip before, it kind of works like this. Walking a mile on the Strip equates to actually walking about 3. It's very challenging to get from point A to point B, and given that our schedule sees us having meetings set back to back, the little bit of downtime that we get in between meetings is usually just as hectic as the meetings themselves. Not to mention, the meetings themselves only tend to be about an hour or so long. So within that hour of time that we have there, we have to set all of our gear down, which I'll have a link up here and probably down in the video description bringing you all to Brian's video that he posted talking about some of the gear that we were bringing with us for CES, just so you have an idea of how much stuff we had to lug around. Then we have to get all the introductions out of the way, or hellos or whatever, bullshitting stuff. Then we have to talk about the new products. We have to get questions out to our vendor contact about the new products. As the production assistant, it winds up being my job to basically take notes on everything that's being discussed. That way Brian can sort of formulate in his mind how he wants to deliver to the camera talking about these products. Then we have to actually set up the filming gear, make sure our batteries are looking good, making sure that the light levels are looking good, make sure that all of our camera settings are in order, and then get to recording. And per item, there can be as many as 3 to 5 takes that we'll wind up doing just talking about one item to make sure it's flowing correctly, make sure that you're all getting the information that you need to be getting without it being too, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, after all that, then we have to pack everything up and move along to the next meeting. So that hour that we have for our meetings winds up being, as I said before, extremely hectic. And it's really challenging for us to get that content out there in a timely manner. Because remember, time is of the essence with CES content. After the first day or so, viewership tends to start taking a very noticeable downturn with CES stuff, because all of these tech outlets have different schedules set up for all of their meetings. So different outlets will have different timings where they hit different vendors, And so you as the viewer will wind up being subscribed to 2 or more of the big outlets that are going to CES, get all of the coverage that you're looking for within the first 2 to 3 days or so, and then everything at the end is basically just the loyal viewership of the specific channel that you're following. So yeah, basically time is of the essence with all of these meetings, and even the space in between. The space in between is filled with travel, usually by an Uber or a Lyft, because walking throughout Las Vegas is, as I mentioned before, an extremely taxing ordeal. And even if you're renting a car yourself to drive all over the place, that's just as stressful and honestly, in my experience, not necessarily worth the effort, since you're then having to deal with finding a dedicated spot to park. You're navigating all of the Las Vegas traffic yourself, which is an extremely stressful and, in its own way, challenging affair. And it's just another thing that you've got to keep track of in the onslaught and potentially, sensory, overwhelming bits of information that you're getting throughout the entirety of the week. We're also talking about ingesting footage, editing the footage together in a cohesive way that looks decent enough and makes sense. So forgive the production quality for CES content and Computex content, because honestly, most outlets just don't have the time and the resources to make everything look as buttery smooth and crispy as they would for a lot of their more regular content. But on top of that, we also have to find a reasonable work-life balance to get reasonable amounts of sleep and get decent nutrition in us. Unless you're Brian Stroh, in which case I have recently discovered he's actually a cyborg that is fueled by coffee. And then there's the matter of finding good craft beer anywhere in Las Vegas. You have to go off strip in order to find the vast majority of it, which is just really a pain in the butt for me. And then to compound things even more, there's the relationships that we need to work on, the friendships that we've developed with not only our colleagues in the industry, but also the vendor contacts. There's something to be said about the priceless ability to get real face time with the people that you're talking to and meeting up with, the people that you've been in chats with online, potentially for years leading up to this point that you've never actually gotten to meet in person before. Getting to know these people gives you a better sense of what's going on with the company that you're working with, because that's the type of person they're hiring on with these companies. So yeah, basically, FaceTime is important. It's also important for us to be able to sort of relax and unwind and, meet up with our colleagues and our friends in the industry in a less professional capacity. Building these relationships is important, and oftentimes these abilities for us to just sort of relax and shoot the shit with each other outside of a professional setting can lead to things like, channel collaborations, giveaways, friendly rivalries that occur. There's a lot of opportunities that open up when we get to meet with each other face to face like that. So while the technology is, of course, in the name of the event, the people really are just as important. And every year I'm privileged to hang out with an amazing group of people, and I've become privy to a lot of information that sort of help me think of what I do as a very small content creator in a very different way, and it's enabled me to set goals in a way that makes sense for me both financially and in terms of what I really want to do with my content here. But just because I'm a small peas channel doesn't mean that the big dogs don't have something to learn from one another as well. Sometimes there's different pivoting and different moves that other outlets will make that another channel maybe didn't think of in the context of what they do previously. That gives them more ideas to play around with, and it's something that, again, if you're just talking to people online, it's really difficult to get those conversations going in a meaningful way. And a lot of times you'll lose out on tonation in someone's voice. It's not like we all remember to /s at the end of all of our online chatter just to make sure people are aware that we're being sarcastic. But yeah, apart from that, it's basically just been me sort of resting up, and I've actually still got a little bit of phlegm going on. I have no idea why it won't leave. I've been taking an expectorant and everything, and I can't figure out for the life of me why I still. But But yeah, I've been catching up on some personal stuff, work stuff, things like that, but I should be getting back into the swing of things with my content starting here soon with a review of a pretty heavily discussed peripheral that's come out that unfortunately I'm returning. So stay tuned for that one. Anyway, I've wagged my chin at y'all enough for right now. I'm gonna head out of here. Again, I got some personal stuff to attend to and some channel stuff to attend to. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked what you saw here. Make sure you subscribed and hit that bell icon and make sure that you're getting notifications every time I upload new content. And as always, I'll catch you all next time. So take it easy. Hey Jeff, see this? This is a beer that didn't get spilled.